Hello everyone here in Maria 01 Urban Tree space, and hello everyone online. Thanks for being here in the Pointscene Day number 2, Pointscene Day 2022. And last year we started here with an online event only due to the COVID restrictions, but now luckily we have had 20-30 people here in the room, our clients, our partners, our customers, our end users, and we had a really nice workshop in the morning, and we got a lot of feedback, development ideas, and hopefully gave some inspiration to the users here. And now we are ready to move to the online session, and for online audience, welcome once again. And now this will start the day for you as well. Today we have about 4 hours or maybe 3.5 hours session here in the afternoon, which consists of 6 presenters, plus you have to listen me a little bit. So we have our clients and partners who have prepared presentations about their specific knowledge base. For example, we're getting started with a very exciting presentation from Mr. Angus Miller, coming all the way from Australia today. So good evening, Angus. We'll let you loose at some point. We have visitors from Estonia, from EyeVi Technologies. We have visitors from Finland, HTJ Contractor Management, Construction Management Office. And then in the second session, we have presenters from Arkance Systems, who is our partner and integrator. And then Destia and Infrakit, or Infrakit as a client, will present for Infrakit and their usage. And then at the very end of actually in the before the Destia presentation, we will also have our German partners, quite fresh new partners from Laserscanning Europe. Will be presenting some interesting cases that they have had. And then in the end, we will also have a new thing for the second Pointscene Day. So we will have Pointscene Awards. So we will present 3 categories and congratulate hopefully the correct clients, partners, etc. here, and have a exciting new thing for you as well. And this will hopefully be a tradition in the future as well. So we have a very interesting and very nice afternoon upcoming. And before I let Angus loose with the first presentation, I will share a few thoughts on Pointscene first. So we in Pointscene want to present a new way of construction management for site engineers, site foremen who want to monitor, want to compare and control their work in their work site. So we know that in construction there's a lot of change happening during the construction, and you need to react to that to the change and communicate those tasks or communicate those work to your peers, to your work employees, and to your other stakeholders in the project, who might be designers or owners or construction supervisors, for example. So we want to help our clients to streamline their work and improve the efficiency in their projects. We do that together with our solution, but also partnering solutions, as we have and will see later on this afternoon. So the main point is to avoid delays and compare data between, like, reality data between and designs, and control the monitor the work. So the main target and main goal is to remove all the unnecessary delays in the project and have the site engineers, site foremen to improve their work. And this is sort of the target where we are facing and going towards to. And we do that with the construction data platform that we have introduced, and most of you are very familiar with that as well. So our platform, it basically consists of two parts: Pointscene web solution, which you can use in the web browser and in your mobile phone, which is then connected with our backend and our cloud, where we have this API toolkit that we use to make everything work in the Pointscene web environment. As well as we have these very important connectors. We have the industry standard connectors that work with third-party solutions. And then we have our API and viewers for creating custom solutions, for example, integrated volume calculations, etc. So if you're working on a construction site, you will never really, we acknowledge that you will never work with one platform only, so you will always have multiple solutions in place, and that will be likely the case in the future as well. So last year we introduced our API, which has helped us to bring you a lot more new stuff during this year. So the API it's used for developers, of course, but it also helps us to improve our work and our toolkit to the end users. So with the API, so with our heavily improved backend, we are able, or we have been able to give you the new tooling, which includes volume reporting. So you can compare your drone data or any type of surface data between your design models or another drone data set, for example. So compare between two dates or between two data sets. During the summer, we introduced the support for design models. So whether it's for visualization purpose or it's for like calculating volumes, you can use the design models. And then we also created these shareable 3D viewers, which now support also IFC models for bridge design or building design or like these complex structure designs. And then we have quite recent tooling, actually from a few weeks back. So you can export data from Pointscene that's directly available as DXF format. So for example, you can have your profiles from the point cloud or from the models or a combination of these to export and use it in a plethora of other CAD solutions. We have improved our 360 scans, both the viewing and the storage part. So now it's possible to integrate the 360 views and 360 scans together with images into the 3D viewer, which you can then share with your colleagues, for example. Better connectivity. So we have improved, for example, a few weeks back we saw improved or fresh update from InfraKit, who has now been improving their point cloud support into their platform. And then we also have improved our API so that the profile queries and the point cloud support are better integrated with third-party solutions. And maybe we see something around that later this afternoon. And then we have some new partners. I already mentioned the Laserscanning Europe in Germany. So we are starting our partnership within the German-speaking region. So if you happen as an online spectator here, if you happen to be from Germany, we likely are able to serve you in German language at some point, at least for the service or the support side. And these are basically all the things that have been enabled or have been accomplished during this year. So I think it's a pretty nice set of new things that you can really adapt and use in your daily work even. So here are a few GIF animations of the volume tools. So this is basically from our Pointscene web viewer, where you compare two different drone data sets, and it's quite fast. It's very accurate. We have done some comparisons with the industry leading software, and we are within a few % of those values in the volume calculations. And it's quite fast, as you see. Of course, it's a little bit like a speedy animation here, but it's really fast. You can see it yourself. Then we want to have this type of very simple sharing and analysis tools where you can, or this is from the new 3D shareable 3D viewers, where you can compare your point cloud together with your surface model imported as a land XML. Or if you have IFC model or multiples of these or a combination of these, you can do this type of calculations and even export the profile as a DXF for use in any CAD. But that's it about Pointscene. I ran over time a little bit, but now I will let our first keynote speaker, Angus Miller from Formula E, to the stage, and he will be describing how Formula E race tracks are built all over the world, and how the cityscapes are transformed into racetracks and back to cityscapes within a matter of a few weeks. So Angus, a little technical break just to share your presentation to the audience here. But we hear you already, so just a moment.
That's the best news.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Now I think you should be, yes.
Okay, yeah, that looks good to me, and everyone can hear me?
Yes, very good.
All right, fantastic. I will get going then. Right, hello everyone. I am calling in from Australia. I don't live in Australia, but I happen to be here just as this fell on. So it's not too late yet, but I was very relieved to be able to be going first tonight or this afternoon. So my name's Angus Miller. I work with Formula E, and I'm going to do a brief description on how we go about designing and building racetracks within city centre environments, starting from concept design right through to the build, as well as the D-rig. I'll give a quick introduction to myself first, what Formula E is, and then explain that design and build process. I studied engineering and architecture at the University of Sydney in Australia, where I then worked as a civil engineer for 3 years before moving to London in September 2019. I moved to London with grand ambitions of traveling to Europe every other weekend, hoping that I'd be able to get away. Of course, that was exactly 6 months before COVID hit. So it became not quite the trip I had in mind, but it did mean I had 2 years in lockdown to finally finish my civil engineering chartership, which was a good accomplishment. I've always had a bit of an interest in motorsport. I've enjoyed watching F1, and something that I think sort of led me to doing this job was something I did in university, where I don't know if you have in Australia, this playmat is it's everywhere. It may not be the case with a mostly Nordic group that I think we've got today, but it's something that a lot of children growing up in Australia would have. So me and some friends actually went and built this track out on one of my friend's farms, as well as our own go-karts, to have a bit of a race. I think in this photo you can see it's sort of two laps before the front right wheel of that car fell off. So I've always been kind of doing similar things to what we do at Formula E. So my job is a track and overlay manager. So it's kind of like in construction a design and build manager, all rolled into one role. Quickly, I'll just explain what Formula E is. Don't tell the marketing department I say it, but it sometimes gets referred to as the electric version of F1. They don't like that comparison, but I think it explains pretty well what it is. It is a single-seater motorsport series for purely electric cars that has been racing for 8 seasons and is entering its 9th season, starting in Mexico in January next year. We're looking forward to releasing the Gen 3 car next year, which is an updated version. It's a spec series, so all of the teams use very similar machinery. The new car will be capable of going 320 kilometers per hour and is hoping to feature fast charging pit stops, which we're very much looking forward to. So as a series, we tend to race all around the world, focusing on city center locations. Up on screen now, you'll be able to see some of the different places that we've raced. Most of these circuits are temporary built locations in city centers, which is designed to bring the race into the fans. It's part of our sustainability message to try and keep transportation costs down, as well as keeping the action close to people so that they can attend our events easily and without having to travel the distances that some permanent circuits sometimes suffer from. Of course, building in city centre locations comes with a lot of different challenges, and I'll run through a few of them when I explain our sort of design and build process. What I'll do first, though, is just show a few examples of some of the circuits we've built in the past, so you can get a flavour for the type of venues that we build. So when it goes forward, here we go. So this is the Berlin venue. This is a racetrack that we build in Berlin-Tempelhof Airport, the abandoned airport there. It's got the honor of being, well, Berlin has the honor of being the only country where we've held a race every year. But it's a very convenient location for us as it's an isolated venue. We don't need to shut roads. It's a big open space, and we can build a pretty cool racetrack without impacting on too many local residents. Another example that was a pretty big challenge, this project I worked on myself last year for quite a significant amount of time. This is in Jakarta, where we actually built a permanent circuit just to the north of Jakarta city, with the intention of being as close to the city as we could. But this is a racetrack built on what I can only call a reclaimed swamp. It was very interesting to see how that changed over the course of 3 months into the racetrack you see in front of you. Another good example was our season finale last year. This is in Seoul, where we built our racetrack around and through the old Olympic Stadium. You can sort of see the track winding through the stadium here. And I'll talk a little bit about how we did those civil works later on in the presentation. It also runs along a pretty major highway. I'll give a few more quick examples. London is another very unique track of ours. This is unique in the fact that our track goes in and around the Excel Centre, a large convention centre in Docklands. So what you can see here is the external portion of the track. And if you follow it, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but if you can, it goes up next to the Julius Baer sign and into the convention centre, where we've got an internal pit lane and grandstands. So that's a pretty unique challenge to build. New York is another one that's a bit different. That's built in a Port Authority land, just opposite Manhattan. So it's got fantastic views of the Statue of Liberty. And then lucky last, which I must admit we don't actually have a lot to do with, but is always fun, is of course Monaco. Much more famous for its F1 track, but it's always fun that we can go along. I myself have not been personally just yet, but hoping to get along at some point or another. So when we come to design and build a racetrack for the first time, these are sort of the rough steps that my team will go through to get it off the ground. It's very similar to a traditional design and build contract for some linear infrastructure or a building. Of course, it's just in a much more condensed timeline and using more temporary infrastructure. What I won't get into in this explanation is some of the more political maneuverings behind the event. It obviously takes a lot of goodwill from a host city for us to come in and put on the event. We do try to be as undisruptive as possible. It's not always possible, but we do endeavour to have as little impact as possible. So to explain each of these steps, what I've done is actually done a short little demonstration around the building you're in today, and I'll explain as I go how we would build up a track. So when we first do a feasibility study for a new city, we'll generally have a look at different areas in that city, and we start to try and consider a few different things. So on the screen here, I've got a screenshot of just the surrounding area of where you are based today. I think I'm correct in saying you're in here somewhere. This is very much a rough approximation of how we would go about this, but I thought it's interesting to have something nearby to ground it in. We sort of need to look for streets that suit the widths of our tracks. We aim to be between 8 to sort of 12 meters wide. Gives us a good amount of space to maintain a competitive racetrack without being too processional. Unfortunately, all of the roads that are of that nice width tend to be the busy roads, so we have to contend with traffic and and your everyday street users. We need to find an area of a suitable length. For our races, we try to go to about 2.5 to 3 kilometers. Depending on where we are, we can adapt a little bit. We do need a little bit of space for a pit lane. So already in this location, I've sort of nominally said this open plaza space might be suitable for somewhere around here. Looking at this area initially, I'm definitely going to try and avoid the cemetery. I don't think that's quite the vibe that we go for. But based on my quick sort of street view run through of the area, I've drawn up, you might not be able to see it, it might be a bit small, but I've just drawn a very rough outline of 2.13 kilometers, so a little bit on the short side, but shows how we might sort of connect a bit of a track together in this area. I will say that in this example, I've fully enclosed a lot of what looks like residential businesses. We generally would try to avoid that, but for the sake of an exercise, I think it'll be fine. So here's a little bit of a tidied up version where I've just added in a pit lane here. I've used a sort of out and back configuration, which we do in our Rome race. If anyone's ever been there or interested in going, that's a bit of a unique solution we use to fit a pit lane in a small area. So that's, once we've got a sort of a rough outline like that, we can usually take that feasibility study away and sign a host city agreement. This is where Formula E and a promoter or a city will agree that this is going to happen, this is what we're going to do, and we can now get into the detailed design. Much like any engineering project, we track this out to specialist track designers. We have a network of designers that do this work for us, as well as venue designers. They tend to be relatively distinct items, but obviously interact with each other. So for our example, again, very much an approximation, but we've now sort of roughed it into place. We've added some runoffs, which is an important factor in city racing, especially because it can tend to run into local infrastructure or streets or parks. And we've just tidied it up into a bit of a detailed design. Our venue designer will then come along and start looking at where they can add additional temporary facilities. So we've added a grandstand in between turn 10 and 11, which looked like a bit of an open park. I could be completely off there, but to me, that would be a space that we could close easily and build infrastructure without impacting locals. These are the things that we start to think about as we're doing the planning stage, already thinking about how we'll limit impacts on the local environment. We also need to start defining impact absorbing barriers, so Tech Pro or tire barriers, which you would normally see at a permanent circuit. We have a preference for Tech Pro system because it can be brought in very quickly and installed a lot faster than tire barriers. We also need to make sure that all of the pit lane infrastructure fits. So that's these probably quite small yellow blobs I've drawn there, as well as all the infrastructure to keep our traveling circus happy. So we will build remote kitchen tents. We will have a TV compound where all of our production crew live. We've got catering. We build hospitality suites. All of those items that you need to hold an event. This process is very much like an engineering program, design program. And myself coming from an engineering background, I find I do spend, and then working with city engineers, I find I spend a lot of time explaining to them the differences between an engineering project where you've got time to think through design, or like to think you do, versus an event which is a lot faster paced and willing to have rapid changes. So for a first year event, now that we've done our detailed design, we'll need to do some civil works. We try to set ourselves up so that each year we don't have to redo civil works. It's obviously not efficient for ourselves or a city to have to coming in each year and modifying things. So this could be anything from asphalt repaving, curb realignments, demolition works, things like that. A good example, which is a little bit counter to what I was just saying about not redoing things, but I think is interesting nonetheless, is the Olympic Stadium in Seoul at the end of last season. I share this one because as an engineer, I found it quite fascinating. But we actually built up a full thickness asphalt profile within the stadium, the old Olympic Stadium. I think that whole process took about a week and a half to 2 weeks to get done, and then put all of the track infrastructure on top of that. So that's an example of civil works, which is not quite as typical, but was interesting nonetheless. So coming back to our little example, around the corner from you guys, as far as I could tell on Street View, I thought at turn 10, we might have a little bit of a problem with this curb that we've got in the way. So what we often like to do is introduce cycling lanes. It's a very good way for us as a series to leave a positive impact that's, sympathetic to our sustainability goals, as well as getting the track widths we need for a racetrack. So you can see in this sort of series of cross sections how we would do that to leave ourselves enough space to run. With the civil works complete, we're now in a position where we can come in and do our temporary overlay build. This is where the event definitely shifts from, in my mind, more engineering based to be a lot more events based, where you're building temporary infrastructure just in a city. One interesting example of where we do this is in Rome. So I should say a typical build for us would take 2 to 3 weeks on the build, and then 1 to 2 weeks to de-rig. So it's pretty impressive how quickly we can mobilize people to get some of these projects built. One of the really good examples is in Rome, where this is the major freeway leading into Rome. And we actually managed to leave this road fully open right up until Thursday night. We typically race on a Saturday. Managed to leave the road fully open to traffic right up until Thursday night, where we swing in with forklifts and a lot of very skilled labor to shut the road, keep it shut for 2 days, and have it fully open, ready for traffic on Sunday morning. Again, just tying it back to our location near you, I suspect that the road I've highlighted here in red looks like quite a major road to me. So I think we would have to do a similar exercise there, and we would do that by putting our track blocks in place overnight, being able to open it up during the day for traffic, and then finally shutting it down just for our event. Having now successfully built and run our race, I'll have to leave it to you to find videos on YouTube of our events running. We then have to de-rig it all and pack it all up. This is probably actually one of the simpler elements for us from a track and overlay team. You just put it all away in the reverse order that you put it out. The one thing we do have to be very aware of is getting the teams away. They've got 2 weeks generally, not even a week, to get all of their equipment from one location to the next, which would be 2 weeks away. So we have to, all of the team's equipment gets put into these freight cases, loaded up to air freight, and sent on to the next race, leaving us behind to pack up the racetrack. So what I've run through there is very much a rough overview of, and trying to pull together how an engineering design and build would work for Formula E to go to a new city for the first time, get a feasibility study done, get a detailed design finished, any sort of civil works we might need, build the event, and finally pack it up. I hope that's been interesting, and if there's any questions, I'd be more than welcome to them.
Yes. Thank you, Angus. It was a really good and thorough and very clear presentation, at least for me, about how to set up such a huge event, such as Formula E Circus, to a location and then back to a functioning city. So before I jump in with questions, I have a few. Anyone from the audience or online? Yeah, Jeremia has a question for you.
Yeah, hi, Angus. Jeremia here. Yeah, I'll walk in. Yeah, so I have a question for you. For your track team, how much stuff you move around from city to city, or is it only the racing teams that move their stuff, and then you only have the local source for all of the objects that you have on the racetrack?
Yeah, so good question. It's pretty important to us that we don't freight things around as much as we can. The freight is like emissions cost for us as a championship. So almost 100% of the infrastructure is done locally. The one exception is some of the specialist track materials. So like Tech Pro, for example, we move between Rome and Berlin. But we've got all around the world, we've got these sets of concrete blocks and fences that we'll leave in cities and put them away for the year, come back and rebuild each time. And if we happen to move from, in a city in America, we might move all of the blocks from one city to another and then just leave them there. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Anyone else from the audience here or online questions? Okay. I have a question. We saw some interesting slides and graphs and profiles and drawings there. So we in the Nordics are more towards focusing towards a model-based design, etc. Do you think that in an event like this or in a global player like yours, do you see any future for the model-based construction? If you have 3D models of the city and the construction, etc., do you think that would have a footing at some point? Or
I would certainly like it to. I know personally I would love to do it more. I think every time we do a little bit of an example of work like that, people realize the value of it almost instantly. So I think it's inevitable that it'll go that way. I know construction industry can be slow when it comes to technology. Events is certainly maybe a step behind as well. But yeah, 100%. It needs to and will go that way.
Oh, very good, very good. And hopefully someday we can all support you in that road towards the model-based construction and design.
Absolutely.
One thing about the sustainability, you mentioned that in your presentation as well. So you want to support sustainable solutions, of course, with the freight costs and minimizing that spending, both in resources and money, of course. But how about the sustainability with the materials that you use? Do you have a circulation or circular economy tied within that? Or, for example, the case you have with the stadium, do you reuse the paving somewhere else, or do you have this type of processes built in?
We certainly do. I'm probably not the best person to speak to it. We do have a team dedicated to finding ways of doing that. I know the team that adjacent to mine, the venue operation team, I know they spend a lot of their time making sure that all the recycling is sorted and our branding materials are not just absolutely gone to waste. And I've seen the effort that they individually go to do that. So I know a lot of effort is going into it. It is certainly a challenge, but no, 100%.
Yeah, very good.
I suppose I haven't actually mentioned how we came to be and why we use Pointscene, but it kind of does segue a little bit into trying to be that little bit more sustainable, because I'll take a 360 camera out onto site with me, take a lot of photos of the venue, and then put them into Pointscene over the top of our venue design, so that colleagues of mine in London can view the venue without having to travel there themselves. So I think even for myself, that's a big win.
Yeah, glad to hear that, and that sort of covers all my last question also. But thanks for putting in that opinion or insight there as well. So very much thank you, Angus. Once again, let's give an applause to Angus. It was a great presentation, I think, and I hope you all got some inspiration about that presentation as well. So next one, we have Mr. Mihkel Lehtmets from EyeVi Technologies presenting us. I need to jump in with my notes, but sustainable or AI supported sustainable asset management or something like that. So I will set up Mihkel's presentation here. So sorry for the few seconds of delay here. And yeah, the sharing one as well. So now I think it should be streaming online. Yes, very good. Do you want to use this?
I think this is fine.
So Mihkel, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to everyone here in Helsinki and live online. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Mihkel. I come from Estonia and I represent EyeVi Technologies. And today I would like to talk to you a bit about sustainable road infrastructure asset management, how we do it, why we do it, and here we go. First, I would like to go over a bit of the problem, why we do it. The problem has existed for decades. You all know of it quite well. Our road infrastructure, especially in the colder climates as well, is quite fragile and vulnerable. And we have been trying to solve it for many decades now. To be clear here, we are not the first and won't be the last to try to solve this. There have been many methods, manual, automated, very accurate, less accurate, but we saw a tiny gap there, which no one was doing, to be quite accurate and yet cost effective. Because what we saw was that there are awesome solutions to automate the data acquisition and processing of road infrastructure. But in most cases, it was always either very, very hard to obtain for companies and municipalities whose funds are a little lower. The investment ceiling was really, really high. Or on the other end, the quality wasn't there so that the data could be used in multiple different ways. So we went down the route of AI as well. And why? AI is not the magic solution to everything. In 2022, I could really honestly say that everything seems to be AI, not only in road infrastructure, data processing and acquisition, but every app and a solution on the market is AI. Although what it does give us is repeatability and speed and consistency. If we play these cards right, the output is quite cost effective and better than the old methods. So what are we talking about here exactly, and what do? We like to use the term predictive, although in the physical terms, it might not be 100% accurate. But what it means is that instead of going outside to see how broken is the road and writing it down or using a very, very expensive laser scanner to scan it and then waiting for the results. We instead drive quite fast over the road, or our clients do, with their or our equipment. We process that data, and we come up with results in visual, report, or other formats, and prioritize it together with our clients to see which is the most effective method to go by that road. So everything can be assigned different values as well. In real world, what it means is, as you see it here, it's a bit dramatized, of course, and the numbers can vary country to country and infrastructure, and so on, of course. But what it means is that when you drive along the road, you see as well these little tiny fixes and so on, right? So especially in our climate here in Finland or Estonia, Norway or Sweden, to put it into a real-term perspective, is that when water gets through that little crack, it in the winter when the water freezes, thaws, it cracks open the road, water goes inside there, and you have a bigger problem, right? So what if you prioritize smartly, because these types of little cracks are everywhere, where to act and react the fastest, and you don't send all the time people out to see where the road is broken and so on, right? You can do it smartly. So to illustrate it even a bit more, what we are doing and what we are automating isn't new either. Digitizing manually road infrastructure data has been done for tens of years. Everyone knows it. But manual labor is expensive. It's not very fast, but the most important thing, it differs. Every digitalizer does it their own way, right? So you can't validate or confirm that data in a repeatable way. So I think the biggest thing, not only about the speed or cost efficiency, what automation gives us is predictability. So if we say that 90% of accuracy this year is like this, we can be quite certain. But when we do it in a manual way, there is also always this degree of variability in the results. So now we get to the bit of what we actually do. I think it boils down to three main categories of what we do. You can see them there. Visual condition survey, road asset management, and road inspection and safety and analysis. I will dive into these bits a bit more in depth. But where we started with EyeVi is the first one there. So we are not that young. EyeVi itself was incorporated a little more than 2 years ago. But our team and the solution is a bit older than that. It's a long story. But we essentially started, our team started with the Google Street View project in the Baltics. And after that ended, companies in Estonia started asking, we want new data. And here we are. Our first solution was a couple GoPro cameras on the roof and that video stitched together. And then it evolved into, hey, we have this raw data, which looks really pretty, but what can we actually do with it? So now I'm going to show you what we can do with it and how eventually Pointscene ties into all of this as well. So all those three solutions which I showed before boil down to these three data outputs which can be used for those solutions, right? Object detection, 3D data from point clouds, and vectorization. And I'll cover these now a bit more in depth. This is where we started, and I think what we are doing is quite unique as well. So whether it is with our equipment or client's equipment, it doesn't matter. We're sensor agnostic. Anyhow, we record 360 spherical data. usually from the top of the car-mounted camera. And we process that imagery into different data sets, one of them being orthographic images. It's a bit different from aerial orthophotos, but we project them to look from the top-down view. And then we also use the 360 imagery itself for the road assets, and then additionally LiDAR data for other things as well. And we have trained our AI models. You can see the short list of the possible outputs here. We call them features, what we can extract. Of course, all of these features depend on the market, and the AI always has to be retrained because everything is different in every country, even in Europe. Finland and Estonia even differ quite a bit. But we use the convolutional models and neural networks then to extract various types of data. And road defect detection is where we started. Now, point clouds, and here our ties with Pointscene start as well. After specializing and starting with the AI models in the visual aspect from visual data, we started to tackle point clouds as well. Now, this is all what we do, but being completely honest here, this 100% of this isn't AI automated yet. It's quite a difficult task. We are doing point cloud processing and coloring them and automated everything that, and now we are also classifying point clouds with AI as well. Of course, because we validate our data as well, we go through for data accuracy purposes. But why do we classify and try to automate that process with AI as well? Because all of this data is very pretty to look at, visualized in Pointscene software as well. It's very fantastic to look at. But the value is when you can add attributes to the data and merge that data with the visual data as well. So here is where the fun bit starts. Couple examples as well. For example, with the spatial relationships, when we classify and automate the classification of the road data, we can generate reports as well. For example, if trees are too close to the roadways, so you know very well where and when to cut down the trees. If a sign has been bent or has the bridge drooped or not. Of course, this is all just a start, right? Eventually, when you can just pick out any parameter which you want for the section of 100, 1,000 or 10,000 kilometers and automate all of these tasks. But it's just fantastic what you can do with all of these data and combined with visualization and analytics also from Pointscene. The end results are quite magnificent. So how does all of this work? To summarize it here very simply is that our equipment, if needed, we send it to our clients. They collect it themselves with our equipment, our software, upload to the cloud, and then it goes through the processing, then AI, and eventually appears in the visual solution, web application, or in any other format they want. So in itself, it's quite a simple process. We are not service providers ourselves. We don't go out there and map. That is done by our clients, usually. And here is what it looks like as well to give you a visual perspective. So the camera itself and everything is mounted on the rear of the vehicle. And with one LiDAR as well, we get the 360 of the whole roadway as well, with only one LiDAR. Now, how does it look in the end? These are just some visual examples which we deliver, whether it is the panoramic imagery, orthographics, or extracted objects. Of course, in shapes, in QGIS, in our web application, the list essentially is endless of what can be done with the data. And I would like to now a bit showcase as well and talk our relationship with Pointscene as well. So our web application, which is not the best marketing name, but EVA sounds better. We developed it a long time ago, and there have been multiple iterations. Right now, we say it version 3, and we're developing version 4. This is where Pointscene comes in. So in this web application is just a one way for our clients to react, act, and visualize their data. Also, we can use it to annotate and retrain our AI models as well. On the surface, looks a bit like any other OpenMap or QGIS tool, but we have our own special backend bits which are quite important. So in essence, it visualizes the panoramic data currently and the defects, the road assets, whether it is on the panorama or the orthographic images. And what we have been doing this year is developing a new version. Of course, the UX is better, but the main key point which we are doing right now with the API, which Lauri talked about before, is that we are building the point cloud tool itself into our visualizer application. So within the web application itself, it's very convenient. It happens all at the same place. You can just switch between the views, the defects, the assets. You can see the classified objects as well, and everything just works seamlessly. So instead of tackling the point cloud on our own, we are working together with Pointscene on this bit. And just a few examples of what we do with point clouds. This I think is the future. What the gentleman before me talked about as well, about the Formula One and the questions about the models of the roadways as well. I'm not speaking Estonian, sorry. Point clouds and the 3D models of roadways is where the future lies. And why we are combining right now the point cloud data with the visual data as well is because the accuracy of where for example, the road assets, whether it is signs or what is their condition, the exact position, that data we're taking from the point clouds, and now combining them together, that's the tricky bit. And before I tie it up, I wanted to share something else. As I told you, we are not the oldest company or startup, and our road from GoPros on the roof to collecting data and to analyzing order photos to all of this has been quite fast. And this year we tried something new. In the spring of this year, we applied and started working together with the New York City New Lab DOT pilot program, and we wondered whether we can use our AI models on aerial orthographic images. Now, there are multiple challenges there, and there was one key outcome as well, not just to analyze what is happening on orthophotos, but to detect changes between the road marking between the aerial orthophotos. So in New York City, they take aerial orthophotos twice a year, spring and autumn. There's multitude of challenges there, vehicles on the road, the snow and so on. And one big one is that the geospatial quality of the images themselves isn't that great either, about 7.5 centimeters. So it's quite difficult. And the whole summer we tested, we retaught our algorithms, and well, the results are amazing. We were we are able to, with the same models, of course, retrained for this purpose, and we are able to very accurately predict the road markings themselves, and additionally the changes between the road markings and the wear condition as well. We just finished and this this pilot project and did the report actually less than a month ago, so that's why I can talk to you about this as well. But this is just to showcase to you that why artificial intelligence is powerful, but it is only powerful when you can solve the existing problems and use it in smart ways, right? This doesn't mean that tomorrow we're going to start analyzing all of Finnish aerial photos, but just to showcase to you what how powerful these types of algorithms can be. And this is another example of the data quality as well, where you can see the original image, the annotations which were done, and then the predictions of the AI. Here we can see a couple of mistakes as well, as you can see the curve on the right side as well. As I told you in the beginning as well, no AI is 100% accurate. Neither is this, although we did reach 90% accuracy, which is pretty awesome in this short time span for this special assignment. But even if you summarize these results were quite fantastic. Now, I think I'm good with time, and I hope you like this very broad overview of what we do and how we do it and why we do it. I would love to go a bit more in depth if anyone wishes later, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Mihkel. Thanks for the great presentation, and I will go. You can come back to the camera. Yes, right. Very good. So, thank you for the presentation. It was really interesting to see that you have been able to bring such like new stuff to the traditional industry of asset management, and of course the analytics within that. And thanks for the partnership, and thanks for our clientship and partnership over the years, and looking forward to the next steps. So anyone has a question to Mihkel, or questions? Jonne, for example, or anyone else here? Yep, Jonne, please.
Hi, Jonne, CTO Pointscene. I understood that you mainly do detections from imagery currently. So, and you're now adding point clouds in the mix as well. My question is, what is sort of the main benefit that you currently see on doing the detections also on point clouds?
Thank you. Great question. Maybe I can start with the main benefit, accuracy. But it is not that simple. You can get the position accuracy in XYZ dimensions very, very accurately from the point cloud themselves. But the information about the sign or object itself is not that good. I mean, we are automatically classifying road signs, for example, and other objects, but classifying with point clouds, whether it is a speed sign type A, 80 kilometers per hour, or sign pedestrian zone type B, for example, is now a bit more difficult. The resolution of the LiDAR has to be immense, and even with that, the data volumes are insane. So the best course of action is to get the information itself from the visual side, and the positional, and not only position, but you can also get the quality and reflectivity from the point clouds itself. So yeah, we have been working with it a while, but now we are at the point where we can confidently say that it's working now pretty well.
Really good, really good. Anyone else? Questions from the audience? No? Online? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I think we
Thank
have a few minutes of time before you go. We have a sort of gift for our presenters. And Angus, sorry if you're still online. We will send it to you later. But as you may have seen both in our social media marketing or some of the presentations here, you have seen these weird art pictures like along with the speakers. So we also have applied some AI, and together with Jonne, our technical director, we have based on the presentation title and the country origins of the speaker, we have selected an artist. And for example, this art is created by AI, and the inspiration for the art is from Estonian painter Mirjam Siim. And the painting is called AI in Sustainable Infrastructure Road Asset Management. So here you go. You can use it in the office or at home or whatever you wish. And
Thank you very much.
And also just to remember the Pointscene Day, and here is also some Finnish chocolate.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, Mihkel. Now we're jumping into the next presentation, which is coming from contractor management agency HTJ, and project engineer Mia Roslund will present, and there will be a few minutes of break to set up the computer, but we will be back 10 past, so 2.5 minutes. online and here. So now we're ready with Mia Roslund from contract or construction management office HTJ. I don't know whether it's the correct correct translation, but welcome Mia, telling a little bit or maybe even more than a little bit about drones in construction management. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Lauri, for presenting me, and thank you for Pointscene for inviting me here to talk you about a little bit about drones used in construction quality assurance. As mentioned, I come from the construction management company called Rakennuttajatoimisto HTJ. And before I go to my topic today, I will briefly tell you about myself and about our company, so you get a better understanding of why we do what we do. As said, my name is Mia Roslund. I have been at HTJ for a year and a half now. Before that, I was doing my master's in rock engineering, and at the same time I was working in a design company, and before that in a construction company. I do construction management, project engineering works, which on my point kind of maybe I should take this away, this thing here. No, yes. So what I do is site supervising, procurements, product coordination, and I'm also responsible for our drone operations and developing them. So that's why I'm kind of here today. As I told, I work for the construction management HTJ. We are Finland's leading independent construction management company, which means that compared to our competitors, we don't do any design, we don't do construction, we just focus on the construction management. We have about 200 experts working all around Finland, all the way from Helsinki to Rovaniemi, and we have about 300 projects ongoing all the time. Our main sectors are building construction, infrastructure, industry and logistics, and energy environment. As I told, if somebody here doesn't kind of is not into the construction industry, we do construction management, which kind of means that when our client has a vision of what they want to do with their money, we make sure that they get as close to their goal as possible, which means that we we supervise that the contractor does what it's supposed to do and it does it in a safe way, and also usually the most cost effective way, or pretty close to that, hopefully. So we make sure that our clients get the best value for their money. And let's go to my topic today, drones in construction quality assurance. As I kind of see it, drones can be used or give the best value when they are used in big projects. They can be projects that are spread out area-wise or take a lot of time. Since in drones, especially if we fly frequently, as we do, we get the history of how the project has proceeded over time. It also helps with the time management, since we can focus on the exact things we need to focus on, and we can have the opinions of our clients easily, since our clients usually have a lot of projects ongoing at the same time. So when we have a meeting with them, we can just show from the drone material that this is something we need to focus on. We need your opinion on this. This is our problem, or something we need to have your input in. So we can save their time and money to be able to present it in a way that they understand and they can focus on. To showcase you maybe a little better as what I mean by this vision of mine, I am gonna tell you about 3 different cases of our ongoing projects and how we have used drones in those. My first case is case Kulmakorpi. It's city of Espoo's project ongoing. It started a year ago and it should be finished in 2025. We are there as site supervisors and rock construction experts. This project, we are building about 40 hectares of industrial site, and it kind of it's spread to kind of two phases. First, we do a lot of rock construction, rock excavating. We do this kind of plain base, and then we do some municipal works, infrastructure, build roads. So when the industrial companies come, they can just start building their offices or warehouses or whatever they want, and the whole infrastructure and the base of the site is ready for that. And since there is about 2 million cubic meters of rock excavating going on, and the contractor gets most of their money from the excavated soil and rock, it's important to the client to be able to assure that the bill that comes from the contractor is accurate, so that they don't pay for something that hasn't been done. And also when there is like if in 1 month they excavate about maybe 20,000 or 60,000 or whatever cubic meters, it's impossible, or if somebody can do that by their eyes to see how much rock is excavated from here, be welcome to tell me, but I'm not able to do that, so that's why we use drones. As you can see here in the picture, I have used Pointscene in here. Once the contractor's bill come, I kind of go and take our latest flight. We fly there about twice a month, and I look at there, where is the rock wall at the moment. So I drew a line there to see where the rock wall is now, and then I go back a month and see our flight data from there, and then I lost my mouse now, and then I take the rock wall in there, and then I can see the area they have excavated, and then as the top layer I take the month ago flight, and then the bottom layer we use the design base, because after excavating there will be a lot of blasted rock and loose rock, so it would be accurate to compare it to the latest flight, so we get the theoretical cubic meters of what have been excavated from there. Kind of similar kind of usage of these point clouds we have in my second project. It's case Karanoja. There we have a client called Kiertokauppa Oy. This is in Hämeenlinna, Finland, and it's a waste treatment site. We have been flying there since last year, and we are there as a safety coordinator. Here we fly about once every month, and as you can see here, we have these 2 times of when we have flight there. This is, I think, the snowy side is maybe from the beginning of this year, and then the more colorful side here is I think it's from our latest flight about a month ago. And here we have put the design over, so we can, or the client can easily take a look at if the contractor has met the design. We can see here is some roads that has been built in the right place, and we can also see that here is some hills. Is there the client can do some calculations, see if the slopes are in the right angle, and see that everything is according to the plan. What is also important in these kind of waste treatment sites is that they have pretty strict environmental permits, which kind of tells them how much waste they can take in, how much land they can take in and use or store at the site. So when we fly once a month, they can kind of calculate the mass update and see how much land they can get to the site and how much kind of they have already taken in. So they have kind of this update knowledge about what is going on at the site and if they are following the permits, which is what we hope to accomplish. This and the last one was how we used point cloud data, and the last one is kind of how we use these 360 photospheres taken from with a drone. This is the case Crown Bridges. This is a huge project both on our company and also on City of Helsinki's point of view, and also Finnish point of view, since it's gonna be the biggest bridge constructed. It's a project that will eventually there will be a railroad going on, and it's kind of this whole project is divided into smaller projects, and we are responsible for the construction supervision in the project that will have build 2 new bridges. Here is the smaller one, and here is the larger one. And then there is this zoo island over here that will be expanded, so the way will be pretty straight or line, so there won't be too many curves. And here we fly once a week. We have designed this. This is actually from a PDF that we have put these points in here. You can just click the point and then you end up in the place. So here's the design and here's the points. We have 25 points spread around the whole site, so we get a good picture of what is going on throughout the site and how the construction works proceed from week to week. And this has, especially when this is such a large project, this has helped the client to use their time much more wisely. It would take a long time for a group of people to walk around that whole site once a week, and it wouldn't be effective. It would they would use their kind of time not so wisely. And also when people go to the site, they have a lot of distractions. There is wind and noise, and there is all this traffic coming and going, and the machines and stuff like that. You have to focus on your own safety as well as the other people's safety. So when you can take out all those effectors and just be at your computer and go through the data, the drone data, and just look around what have happened on the construction site, it also enables that you can focus on what have actually happened and see the different parts where you want to focus on. You don't have to be aware of your surroundings so much. And we have also put these points in a way that they overlap, so there won't be any point where there is no data available. This also gives the advantage of, since we have planned this ahead and agreed with the client that how often we fly and where we fly, it kind of takes out the way of usually when somebody takes picture, they can manipulate it in a way that they take it in a certain angle or a certain way. So when we take the pictures each week in the same positions, it gives kind of independent look on what is going on. So you get the data and the independency from that. I think this is more easier explained and shown when we go to the maybe I should tell you more first about where these points are. I have 2 points here. This first point is from the I have the, let me see, just first point is from the smaller bridge, about halfway there, And the second point is from the larger bridge, about halfway point there also, so we can kind of see the differences of the how big the each bridges are. So yeah, let's go now to the actual data. We can see here is the smaller bridge. I hope this works well to the online viewers also. Here we can go and look around of what is going on and what has happened over time. And we can also here go around, see some towers in there. You can go around and take a look at the city center of Helsinki. But mostly we focus on the bridge construction site. And here we can easily manage to zoom in and focus that if we needed to talk about this here, we could easily be like, okay, first of all, let's see, we are here. Everybody knows where we are. And then let's focus on this thing over here. And then we can just easily understand that, okay, everybody is up to date what we are talking about. And we put the data in a way that everybody is on track of what we're talking and what is happening. And there is no kind of issue about somebody being not kind of on the same page of what is happening, since the footage tells the story. And from the other bridge here, we are also about the half point in there. As you can see, it's a much larger bridge, and it's also in a more preliminary stage. The previous bridge was pretty much more on a constructed way. It's closer to finishing than this one. And here we can also see that even if I zoom in here, we can see the beginning of the bridge. Or when I go to the other way, we can see we can more easily see this part, but not the other part. Here to demonstrate the history of how it can be used if we notice something has happened or hasn't happened yet. We can go back in time and kind of focus on when did this start happening. And if, like, for example, this part of the bridge here, I think there is some kind of piles there. So we can focus on this. We see that, okay, they have started the piling work. Okay, let's go back in time. Last week, what was the situation? Oh, they had the same kind of situation. The weather wasn't as nice as this week, but the situation was pretty much the same. We can go 1 week back. We can see that here has happened something, but this place it's pretty much the same as the last 2 weeks. But when we go more back, here we can see that here has been some kind of wall or something. I'm not a bridge expert, so I don't know if these are correct. But when we go enough back in time, we can see that, okay, here we are about a month back in time. We can see that they haven't even started the works in there. So when something needs our focus, we can easily go back in time and see when did this start happening, and we can discuss about the effects of it. So it keeps the transparency of what is going on and how well the contractor meets our needs and schedule and costs. And if something needs our focus, we can easily go on and show where the focus needs to be, and we all doesn't need to go and travel to the bridge itself. So this kind of comes together as why and how we use drones in our construction quality assurance. We want to give our clients the best value, and I think that with drones you can take a lot of data and put it in a way that it's compact and it's easily understandable and it's transparent. I hope this evoked some questions and ideas in you, and I hope to have great discussions with you. And thank you for your time and attention.
Very good. Thank you, Mia, for the great presentation once again. So, any questions from the audience? Jeremy, once again, you're always the first, or is it your?
Yeah, I have a question about accuracy. Do you find out, or have you found out that now that you can also do the mass calculations, are the constructors more aware that they are being monitored in a way that it makes it easier or more difficult for them to try to get more money out of the client?
There has been some occasions where the contractor has us, when they know that we are flying there frequently, they have come to us that, okay, we have to correct this bill. This hasn't been quite accurate. So they know that we are there and we are monitoring their masses. So they kind of, it gives them the boost to be accurate on their calculations as well.
Yeah, so in a way, this gives your clients more confidence in using your services when you use the drones instead of just
Yes.
on something else. Yeah, thanks.
Did you are using mostly photogrammetry, or are you using also drones with a laser unit?
We just use the photograph memory.
Yeah. Anyone else? So, yeah, I have a question about the using drones in different types of project. You mentioned that you really see the benefits in large projects, but if you would need to name one or two main benefits for smaller projects, what would that be? Sort of, if you think that it would be more automated or more like faster to do or simple or lightweight to do.
I think,
Do you think
especially
like building cases.
Yeah, I think that because it gives you a different perspective on the site or the constructor or whatever is happening. You can get a pretty well an easy way to see if there is some parts that's hidden from like this eyesight, and also if there is some kind of it's when you have a small project, you also need to know where the border is. So when you take before and after photos, you can pretty well see, and if there is a neighbor or somebody that wants to get money from the project, that they are disagreeing of if their property has been damaged or something, it's pretty good to take like before and after photos to see if there has actually been some changes in their property or something like that. So it's also useful in smaller projects. Yes.
Okay. One more thing, you mentioned that there might be some clash between the contractor who is like doing the earthworks or the civil construction, and then the one who is actually paying the bill, for example, the city or alliance project or the transport authority. Do you see that there will be a trend of more transparent way of working due to drones, or how do you see that these like both sides of the table could be benefiting from this?
Yeah, I think that it will give more benefit both sides, and also kind of especially when the city is paying, it's the taxpayers that are paying. So it gives the transparency of how the project is going, and also kind of transparency of maybe focus on the things that are more important than in the project than just trying to mess around with each other and kind of get the best kind of income in both sides. So it kind of gives we can be on the same table and see things the same way.
Very good. Thank you for the presentation once again, and for you as well. We have the similar AI painting made ready. So this is inspired. Oh, there's the camera. So this picture is inspired by to the AI by Hugo Simberi. So I didn't know that Hugo Simberi, a Finnish painter from the 1900s or 19th century, like in that era. I didn't know that they paint drones, but they can. Pretty nice actually, like pretty up-to-date drone as well. It misses the RTK receiver, this accurate GPS receiver, but maybe in the next version of AI. So here you go, and also some Finnish chocolate as a thank you for your input. Thank you very much. So now we are heading towards a break. We have about a half an hour break from here on until 3:10 Eastern European time. So feel free to grab a lunch or grab a coffee or whatever, or do some work while in the meantime. And we hope that you're back at 3:10. We will have presentations coming from Arkance Systems. We will have a presentation from Laserscanning Europe and Destia and Infrakit combo. And we will also have the Pointscene Awards. Stay tuned to learn that. And if you're online, feel free to celebrate an after party celebration at your home, or welcome here to Kirahub. We will be here from 5 on. So if you live close by to Maria, there we will organize some space for you as well, and some nice food and wine and etc. But now let's head to the coffee break and be back. Let's be back in about half an hour. Yes. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back to the Pointscene Day. The second session is starting. I hope that we have still alive and freshly alive and woken up people with a fresh shot of coffee. They're also online. In the afternoon session or the second session, we have 3 presenters plus the Pointscene Awards coming up. So now it's our partners' turn. So first we will have Erno Tiensuu from Arkance Systems presenting maybe a little bit from the design perspective and from this side. So interesting to hear what's coming up. So welcome, Erno.
Thank you. And also thank you for Pointscene people for inviting me to discuss about my job, my company and our solution that we have, and also about the cooperation that we are doing with Pointscene. I just remembered that the past few months have been on ongoing live sessions everywhere. It's nice to have hybrid meeting or hybrid session that we have some people online and we have some people here live. If I start to get nervous, I'll just think about circles and your initials on it. So it'll be like Teams. So, well, it's great to see everyone. No need to imagine circles. So who am I? My name is Erno Tiensuu and I'm working in Arkance Systems Finland as a software specialist and a product owner. I have strong background in designing. I've been a traffic designer and road and railway designer, some light rail as well. On top of that, I have some experience from the construction site. I've been working on the same company as the previous presenter was working, and also before my bachelor's degree, I had spent time at the construction site as the, I don't know, handyman for the operator, excavator operator there. And I started thinking about those days, and it's around 12 years ago, and we didn't have any 3D models then. We didn't have any machine control systems. We had, I think, 6 or 7 excavators in our small company, and I think we had 2 machine control systems, and they were just nice to show. We didn't do anything with them. So it's been a long ride from 10 years ago. I can't wait what will happen with the next 10 years. What I actually do and what are my interests, I am a product manager and product owner, so my job is to listen to our customers and trying to find solutions for them and work constantly with our development and solve problems. I love to solve problems, so if you have any, well, software related, we'll handle those. Just come and discuss with me. I already mentioned about 3D models, but also BIM. It's a huge topic and it will rise even more, and it's something that we have not fully utilized yet. I don't think we have even scratched the surface yet, so there's plenty that we can utilize. Also, I do something else also. I'm not just working all the time. I'm big sports fanatic. Basically any type of sports will do. Everything from ice hockey to disc golf will do. That's enough for me. A little bit about our company. Let's see how this goes, because this is the first time I see the slide. I just received last night the new slide deck, so it's updated. We have all the countries here that we are working in. So I'm working for Arkance Systems. Our head office and our main company is called Arkance. We're working all over Europe in 14 different countries. We have offices there, and on the background we have something, a French company, family-owned company or business called Monier. Monier has a history for over a century, so it means that there is heritage there, and When Monier was established, their goal was to mechanize the construction industry, meaning that they dealt excavators. And they're actually still dealing excavators. They are a Caterpillar dealer across Europe. As we all know, the world is evolving. There's much more coming into our world constantly, technology. So it means that digitalization is something that, well, it's a fancy word and it's been spread around for a while. What does it actually mean is that many things are being digitalized. It's nothing fancy, to be honest. It's extremely important, and there is much that we can also use in digitalization. And Arkance wants to be your partner with digitalization. And last but not least, the company I represent, Arkance Systems, we mainly deal software solutions. And today I'm going to talk you a little bit about our solution called Holixa SMS. Holixa is something that we own as an Arkance. It's an Arkance brand, and all of our solutions will be named Holixa and something else. So in this case, SMS. It's not the obvious SMS. It's not the short message service. It's site management system. I will explain a little bit more what we actually want to do. It's not just about a construction site. We see that when you have a construction site, you have also design that links to construction site. And something that is thought, but it's not usually so widely used, is what happens after the construction. There's maintenance, there's asset management. There was a great presentation already about AI in asset management. And we want to connect the office to the site and back. There has been great discussion this morning about using different types of design, what contractors have to do with the design. And I think one of the key things is that there's miscommunication in construction projects. We might not be talking about the same thing. We might be talking about the same thing, but we're not sure that we're actually talking about the same thing. So the miscommunication is one of the biggest issues with construction sites. And with a site management system, we want to bring everything into one place, one single source of truth. There are different things that matter for contractors and designers, but in the end, they are trying to achieve the same goal. You can see fancy words here as well. What we can actually do, we have some machine telematics that we can collect from excavators. We can use point clouds from Pointscene and do some cut and fill calculations. We can follow fuel consumptions from excavators, from trucks. And we also have a platform that you can send your designs and share the designs there. So this is what we actually think and what we want to be. This is a picture of an axon. Axon is a part of human body, and its function is to transmit information to different neurons, muscles, and glands. And we, as Arkance, see that our solution is an axon. One way of looking at today's society is that there's definitely all kinds of data available. There is no lack of data. There's data everywhere. But is it being used? We collect it, we store it, but are we utilizing the data? We think that the data itself cannot be used. Data is just some big slump stored in your network drive. Once the data has meaning, it becomes information. And information is something that you can actually use. It's something you can base your decisions to. So the ideology is that we deal with the data, provide the information, and let you deal with the insights, provide what you need with the information, and base the decisions you make on actual information. Our tool that we plan on using to establish the information for you guys is called Holixa SMS. And we already have something to begin with. It's not just fancy words that I'm describing here. Our starter pack has been ready for a while now, and we'll take a small look at it. It's for managing data, but also viewing and sharing it. And also we provide you a communication tool. So overall, Holixa SMS is a simple map interface capable of displaying infrastructure models. And when we are using maps are easily comprehensible, a familiar way of looking at the design. With customizable background maps from Pointscene, for example, there's information for everyone. And there's much more to the models than just viewing them. There's metadata within them on layers as well as pipe networks. Those contain much data that needs to be viewed. This is just map view. Of course, you need sections. So we can take sections, for example, cross section here, and crucial in cross sections and long sections is that you take measurements. You see the profile here, you can take the slope measurements, for example. If there's a need to dive deeper in the details, what the map doesn't tell, you can use 3D views with point clouds. Or if you don't need the point clouds in the background and you want to dig deeper, you can do it. Communication is the key. You can communicate on a map, on a location, on top of the design or the constructible models, so you know the location. Working together with Pointscene, we have been fortunate enough that our cooperation with Pointscene has evolved, and we have been partners for a while now. But I'd say that within a few months, we have developed our partnership further and deeper. And one way of looking at this is something that we used and tested, Pointscene API for the volume calculation tool on top of our tool. And I think both sides learn from each other and valuable lessons from how different companies work. And I think that's the key in partnerships. You don't need to do everything by yourself. There's people, companies that do things already. It makes no sense to try to build something new. Instead, partner up and try to make a great solution by combining the efforts. So I will show you Holixa SMS and the new integration with Pointscene. So we can do a volume calculation on our map. We have a point cloud on the area there. There is some rock here, gravel here, and we just connect to Pointscene API and draw a simple polygon on the map, so we can get the volumes from that area, and we can configure the visualization. So we can manually decide what colors we want to present here and which elevations that we want to exaggerate. So everything above 2 will be shown as blue, everything below -2 will be shown red, and everything between those will be shown as green. So we're querying this from Pointscene API, and we get the volumes. We get the exact volumes, the same volumes that you see on Pointscene as well. So there's the amount of cut, fill, volume, and also the area. This is just one example. It can be used with for example, LandXML areas, and we can query the same thing with that. I just want you guys to think something after this is, wouldn't it be great to have one single dashboard or platform to collect and report efficiency and progress? No more multiple solutions, one single view to all the data that you have. This is our ideology. It takes a village to raise a child. Some of you may have heard the phrase, it means that to actually grow children, it needs safe and healthy environment. And we think the same applies to different types of software solutions, is that it takes a village. So it takes people to give their opinion, use it, and provide feedback to the solution. So come and join our village. Thank you.
Thank you, Erno. Actually, that was sort of, I expected to have more like from the design side, but actually you were building some nice picture of the construction side as well. So really interesting, and thank you for the great presentation. So anyone in the audience, do you have any questions for Erno, or should I dive in? Nobody? Okay. Okay. Yep. Jero.
Hi. What kind of features do you have regarding the progress tracking?
Good question. Progress tracking, we based it on the volume calculations that we have here. Basically, that's the thing that we have now, and we haven't released it yet, so it's still in beta version. So that's something that we want the village to try out and give feedback to us. What would be crucial for you guys? Yep.
Very good. Very good. Any other questions? Okay, then I will go with one question. So I saw from the map you are present in quite many countries in Europe already, and then work with maybe new partners. As far as I understood, you have been acquired by Arkance Systems some years ago. So how the Finnish compared to the European or the Nordic way of working compared to the European way of working, how does it differ, and how have you experienced working with all of the countries already? Or
good question. Not with all countries, but one thing is clear, that in Finland and in Nordics is that everything seems to be clear here. We have the same goal. We have standardization already, and we keep the nonsense to minimum, to be honest. We stick to the business, and I think that's something that Finns are actually known for, to leave out the nonsense, actually. And that's something that is valued within Arkance from our colleagues, is that if you ask a Finn, you get the actual answer and you get the straight answer.
okay, good. And one additional question to your answer. How about the sort of the ways of, does this same reflect to the way of working, like for example in the field? You mentioned you had the slide where you have the field Arkance or whatever.
Yep.
It was, and then the design solutions. Does it like reflect the same analogy also for that? So it's
that's a bit harder question, because we have Arkance field, also known as SciTech, in Europe, as for example France and Belgium. SciTech are part of Arkance in those countries, and those are actually countries that we have designed and we have the site. So it means that they are collaborating and working together. But in Finland, we mostly provide information for the Arkance systems and the software. Most of the European countries are heavily using Autodesk, and in Finland we are known as a Trimble, big Trimble provider. So what we actually do is share the information that what we know from Trimble and receive the information what we know or what the others know about Autodesk. But the field site or field office link within the company, that's something that we're working on constantly. So trying to improve it.
Very good, very good. So, so thank you for the presentation and for the insight. And we also have a present for you. With partner presentations, we didn't have sort of titles made beforehand or decided upon beforehand, but we crafted with the AI, we crafted a cyberpunk futuristic 3D rendering of a construction site created with AI. So this is how it looks like, and this is created for you. And thank you for the presentation, and also of course some Finnish chocolate.
Great.
And from the Finlayson, or in a Finlayson bag.
Yeah.
I know that you're from Tampere region, so so it goes back to that region. So thank you, Erno. Thank you for the presentation, and round of applause for Erno as well.
Yep. Thank you.
Next up, we have our clients from Germany, or our partners from Germany, to be fully truthful. So we started a partnership together with Laserscanning Europe just quite recently, actually in like late August, September, and so we are getting to know each other better, and it was great that you were able to travel to Finland and see the Nordic lights in Lapland, and then come back to Helsinki south to see all the 5 centimeters of snow that we have here. So now we're hearing a little bit about Laserscanning Europe and what you provide and what you do, and what type of client projects, services, and cases you have. So I will just share the screen once again. And it should be online as well. Are we good to go? Yep. Okay.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm. Thanks for the invitation to your Pointscene Day. My name is Eric Bergholz. I'm coming from Germany, and I'm the CEO of the company Laserscanning Europe. Maybe something for my own. Have background. I'm a surveying engineer, and then I work in different fields. But I go very quick in this point cloud stuff. Laser scanner was part of end of my master thesis, where I captured like airborne laser scanning for open pit coal mines. And later, I working for 2 years in the engineering part for surveying with streets, what is now a good background, as we mostly captured street for new design and giving some major point, and make also these calculation for the government, these end surveying as a very good background. Yeah, and then I'm joined later very quick in this laser scanning world. I'm working for a company they called iQvolution. This was the original founder of the Faro laser scanner. I know how it's working in a startup company, and then we was acquired by Faro, and then I worked 5 years in Faro as a technical expert in sales, and I sell a lot of Faro scanner, the first scanner in many countries, Germany, Netherlands, Poland, Switzerland, everything in Central Europe. And I do also a lot of education of the new salesmen. And after 5 years, I decided with my knowledge that the marketing for point clouds going big to start an own company. And there's company I was co-founder called Laserscanning Europe. And this was in 2009. To my side, beside point clouds, I'm also interested in sports. I find it interesting with the motorsport, like was electronic motorsport. We are sponsoring motorcycle racing. And I was also a couple of years manager of a motorcycle team. And we also been here in Finland. We won the second place in the Matra race. And I have also some Finnish friends, famous sports guy, the sidecar world champion Pekka is a friend of mine. And also the one, Arno Kostamo, is a famous motorcycle rider. He wins, I think, on this weekend, the Macau GP. Also I have a lot of Finnish friends from motorsports and also from business. So to our company, our head office is Magdeburg. Next, I have a slice because nobody knows where it is. We have 5 offices in Germany. We are founded in 2009 during the financial crisis. Everybody other in the industry, they say they are crazy to try to survive with only point clouds. But I think my decision was better. And now we are around 20 people in Germany, and we have also 5 to 10 modelers in Slovakia. And yeah, most of them, like 70%, are engineers. This is our location. The Magdeburg office was, my co-founder was living there. Magdeburg is like a city like Oulu, like 250,000 people. It's the federal capital from the state Sachsen-Anhalt. And now we hope that we get big invest from the Intel wafer factory. They try to invest their 70 billion US dollars in 5 kilometers from our head office. So, and then the other office, we have a strong relation to the south, to Stuttgart, because we are in the surrounding of Stuttgart. Then we are in the west part, close to Düsseldorf. And then Maya is here, she comes from Dresden. And in Dresden, we mostly do the BIM work, head office. We have different business areas. Our main business is sales and rental systems and also software. If you do that, you need also training and from people. And if somebody don't like to buy something or rent something, we can do it also for them. And then on site, I was interested because BIM coming now big. I think we are 5 years behind Scandinavia. And I had one expert, but after that they asked, we have our own people, and now we have like 5 people modeling team by our own because the customer asked for. And then we run the biggest online shop for laser scanning accessory, I think worldwide. And we are also doing some research work with university together. Some application, I think it's maybe interesting from the where you can use the laser scanner sensors. The biggest market is the AEC market. I think we saw here some point cloud application already today. And then another market is unfortunately not so big in Germany, is mining and tunneling. And then we have also a lot of industry customers. And on site, there are some other smaller market, but they are very interesting, is these art culture, virtual reality, movie making. Also, they're using scan systems. And one point we are also strong in, it's the public safety sector, like forensic. And I'm also the European representative for the International Association for Forensic Metrology, also the people they're using measurement technology for forensic investigation. Only some references, only short. We have from one-man draftsman office until biggest company in Germany. I think we have all car manufacturers. I think Porsche is missing, but Porsche is also a customer from us. We have also Mercedes Motorsport, and all of them use some system. But we had also working for Scandinavian company. For ACA solution, we work in Lithuania, Norway. And then we are also working international for Siemens. And I have also another company, like I think we were working around the world for these clients. But most business we do in Germany. And the project would like to speak today is something from what fits here in the market and maybe interesting for you. I think many from you are in these construction, also during the construction control. We are 5 years in the past. We are starting now to get BIM for the design project, and maybe later then we switch to Pointscene products and in the monitoring the process during the construction. What we're doing here is a very interesting project. It's a highway renovation or expansion project. It's the owner is the Ministry for Traffic and Digital Infrastructure. And the other one is the other sign is the state of Saxon. And the last one is the Colin Dagis. This is our project management office, which is 100% owned by the federal and states in different federal countries. And they do all project. Historically wise, they was founded 91. They're coming from the where the east and the western part going together. I come originally from the east part. There was all streets connection was missing from because they had the wall, and they had the task to develop all highways, major streets, and also the railway to connect the east part again to the west part. This was the original. They were starting, and now they're already existing. Also, I think we have now a connection between both parts, but they're now actually in the project management office for the government. And we also now divided that's in Germany. Before was the highway administration on local states, but now they have a government, as the state take it back, and there's a federal association. They call them the Autobahn. That's the Autobahn. That's new. Yeah, there we have one highway. They call him A4. This is a main highway from west to east, not only in Germany, in whole Europe. Also it's and that's we have a part of the highway connection from Dresden to the Polish border. Here's a picture. You see there on the right side is connected the A4 going to Wrocław, Katowice, Krakow, also Ostrava. This is a big heart of the Polish industry area. A little bit, there's only two connections, the A4, and if you look a little bit south of Berlin, is the A2. That's the main line where the industry from East Europe are connected with the industry in the western part. So they go over Dresden, then they go to the south to Stuttgart area, Nuremberg, and also in the west part, and everything else going in the northern part. And then they go until the Benelux states. Also it's a major highway. Here's a little bit closer view. We have there the airport, Klotsche is the name, and we have this part. Interesting, there's a city called Pulsnitz. That is because we are close to Christmas time. This is one of the major capital for gingerbread in Germany. They make very good home, like small factories. They're making this very famous, the city. The project was 15 kilometers. It's a part of a bigger renovation. I think the whole project is over 100. And the interesting stuff is 15 kilometers. They want upgraded this from 4-line to 6-line. The traffic from 2017, I think it's already more now, is around 67,000 cars per day, and 25% are heavy trucks. And the cost to this time was 140 million. I think that's not realistic anymore with the increasing pricing, maybe the double, or I don't know. What we're using, there was some, we're working together within a company they had a major contract, we call him VEC, and they are working with traditional survey system like GPS, total station, digital level, and we're using also old data, and they asked us to help them mostly with bridges, but then in the discussion later, we tell them why we not scan such stuff is much better and faster. And another point was also the work safety. I think I explained. And what we use on our side for the tender, we use an NCTEC panorama camera system. We drive in the traffic, and then we get some good 360 degrees photos where we use for calculation our work, what we have to spend. And later we decided for the scanning that we use a mobile mapping system We're working there with the German company TopScan. They are the user of a Teledyne Lynx system, what is a very advanced mobile mapping system. We already have the Polaris, it's a long-range scanner, and we use Faro scanner. They are very good for short-range application. Why we use so many different systems in once? The ones was they say we have some old planes and we want to use them to save money. This was the job from our partner to control is the information about usually if you have the final surveying of a street, this usually should be not changed dramatically. But we have no good documentation for bridges and other installation like noise protection walls. And we had this problem of the around 70,000 cars per day. And if you do traditional surveying and you have block lines, you can imagine, I don't know, you have traffic jam from 20 kilometers if you block one line there. And you not can do this day by day. As a day damaged for the economy, it would be crazy, yeah. And therefore, I suggest why we're not using a mobile mapping system. The mobile mapping system have this disadvantage that you not can look under the bridges because some of this area was like nature, and also some site information you can see, and that was the reason why we say we like to use additional traditional terrestrial laser scanning to get the full view. Yeah, and this is the data what we have to handle. As we have the existing data, we have in Germany a system they're calling Card1. It's very famous to use for the design of streets. And then we have from the survey, we get DXF data, traditional survey data. We have the data from the mobile laser scanning system and from terrestrial laser scanner. And everything in final have to be modeled in Autodesk Revit. And yeah, this is how it looks realistic. And then the end is how we model from this data a digital twin. You see that's a point cloud, and with the point cloud, we had already the challenge if you use different kind of sensors. Like a Faro sensor have an accuracy from around 1-2 millimeters and a very low noise. If you bring a mobile mapping system, the noise is bigger. You have you need reference point to collecting, and you see the inaccuracy between different system if you collected them to one point cloud. This is definitely a challenge. And I think traditional survey is not so complicated because you have only single points. You don't see if you have double points. You see, oh yeah, it's okay. But this is a good one on point cloud. You see how good you are. And we had some beginning on one bridges. We had the challenge. We had the 6 centimeters offset between the mobile mapping system and our terrestrial scanning. And then we spoke to this company and had discussion, and then we finally find out they had a wrong setting in the pre-processing. After then, this fit perfect. And then finally, the government get this type of Revit modeling. What is also complex because Revit is not built really for realistic. It's built for mostly modeling from the scratch on green fields and not from brownfield projects like this. But thanks to our modelers, they use their brain to try with the Revit options to get it closer on the realistic point. Yeah, there's also, you see, we got, I think, also all drawing with cadastral information, and everything have to go then inside of the final project. I think you can see on top how complicated it's really to model like all the details, like especially the if you connected then the sidewalls, but also with the bridge. For me, I visit them and say, oh, the bridge is pretty easy. And after I saw my modelers working on the bridges together with additional drawings, what they get from like 2D drawings from 25 years in the past, and they say that you can put this inside, like how the bridge looking inside or under the earth. This information we also bring in the system. This was really challenging for the modeling guys. It was not like model on point clouds. This was like modeling in construction. Once, yeah, and you see here, this was one of the trickiest part. It was the double bridge between the street and the railway bridge, what is completely different. And sidewalls, and that was not all of them. I think parts from the sidewalls was maybe from 1935, where this highway was built during the time from the Nazis. I think part of this under construction coming from this old time. Yeah, what was the challenge? What I say, we have old plan, as in the old plans, they have also different height system. There was an DIHNN 92, and later the government switched in 2016 to a new height system. This means we have also systems that are not fit from the height system in ones. There's something with going from the traditional Gauss-Krüger system to the ETRS 89 system. And then, find out the right dimension for the components. It was hard what I saw from old planes, because it was only 2D. And the mobile mapping data is very good for rough modeling, but it's not so good for fine modeling. Some government people asked that we can see if you have two concrete elements, that we can see the slice between them. And this is hard to get out if you drive with a mobile mapping car with 80 kilometers per hour, what you have to drive if you want to go in the fluent traffic. It's not so easy. And then another problem what we have, but this was like somebody told me in the Scandinavia, is everybody speak the same language. We're starting now. I think we start with some, ask, is there any BIM requirements? They say, no, do it like last time. And after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the final engineering office who do the design came in and say, oh, we already have an own BIM agenda. I say, yeah, but we do something else now. Then we have to rechange something. It's I think that's something where was one of the first project where everybody in the project have to learn to give clear instruction to beginning and not during the process. Yeah, and then the last one was we have to split the big project in many small IFC files. In total we have like 15 kilometers inside of the whole track, and the engineering officer, they won't have smaller pieces to can work with that. Yeah, you cannot give them 15 kilometers IFC data set and then they try to do some engineering. I think that's not possible. But I think many of you maybe are deeper in this problem, like we are starting now. Yeah, I think that's mostly was this project or what I like to show you, and maybe tell you a little bit about sensor fusion and what options you have. And I think maybe regarding to the Scandinavian, we have the challenging that our highways are maybe much busier, as maybe Helsinki have busy highways, but we have a lot of Helsinki highways here. Yeah, I'm done and I'm open for questions.
Thank you. Exciting to hear a little bit more about the German approach to BIM and surveying. And first of all, thanks for the presentation. It was really nice to see the whole project that you presented, and of course the background. So I didn't know actually that you work for Faro. So basically, or you were bought by Faro. It was interesting to hear. You're one of the forerunners, or how would you put it like that? Okay. So any questions from the audience here regarding the Eric's presentation, or out of interest for the Jukka?
Hi, Jukka from Pointscene. I have a question about the outputs that your clients use. What would you say is the most common like output from scan? Is it like the point cloud or some EFC model, or?
I would say from depending from which application you speak. There's my feeling there is some change. There is using only the point cloud, then having a model. I think for design and street there will need definitely an IFC model or a digital model, because otherwise you not can run any access and stuff like that. That's not really working on point clouds. And also for calculation of material and stuff like that, I think you need some vector surface or solid surface. But for other application, I see also that people try to reduce the amount of work, because point cloud is easy, but since you're going to a CAD model, you have to put time and money inside. There's also hybrid. I have people from more industry, like they have such buildings with piping work inside. They scan it. They make a design, taking only key features out, that they have their own design in their CAD system. Then they make new pipes inside, and then they put back the pipe in the point cloud and make only a cross, what do you call them, a cross check if you have any collision analyzed. That's something. It's I would say, like a kind of hybrid workflow. That's many use cases. Of course, they're using the point cloud only is for the customer the cheapest and fastest way. Yeah, but I think it's not fit every need from everybody. Yeah, I would also say what is interesting for us to work with Pointscene now together, because since Corona, the government, everybody see that we are not really digital in our country. Now it's give really a big push to go digital, and that's maybe good now. Also, the construction companies say invest a lot in the education of the people with BIM. I think they will also go digital, but streets are owned by government. If government not can take digital data to work with that, nobody do it. It's double work, yeah, if you have to give final paper out. But now we change. But yesterday I saw a very good presentation. They say, well, digitalization in German government sucks. And they say because 70% of higher manager in the authorities having a lawyer background, and they try to do digitalization data like law safe. Yeah, and that's a little bit. They try, is it safe to the law, or is the law issue? And they're not looking on technology-wise. But actually, I see there's now also the government make projects, and I think now change these. I think it's a very good outcome for German society in Corona that we saw the government. Yeah, if the people go home, then they not can do the work really right, because they have not the infrastructure and stuff like that.
Yeah, good. Let's hope for a brighter future than for the digitalization in the German market, and let's work together to accomplish that. So, any other questions to Eric? Jero?
Hi, Jero from YIT. Did the client have any other use cases or things they use the models for other than visualization?
No. This model is not visualization. This model is really used for them for the design, for the engineering works, like a calculation of how much material you have moved, but also bring the new design inside. It's not visual stuff. This visual was only done by our side to present something, but this was not the main goal. It's the only one company who is already on BIM in Germany is our railway. The German railway, it was the first big corporation who 100% switched to the BIM workflow. Good.
So I hope that many of public organizations are learning from Deutsche Bahn how to approach that. And
I don't know. It's in Scandinavia. We have the point. We have these big players in the German market, like Strabag or I think Eurovia Vinci from. They are also big, but we have also the middle-size construction companies. They have maybe 1,000 employed people, or and I think the big players, they're already digital. They have, like, I know the Strabag have an own digital laboratory where they search on new things. That's not so easy for the smaller companies. They not can spend so money in research. But they are also like in these local areas, the small companies doing the work. And I think they are also interested, not only the big highway project, like also the project on land side. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Eric, and also Maya. Thank you for coming to visit us here in Helsinki. So great to have international guests as well. So regarding the topic of previously, so the AI art. So we now created also a construction site in Cyberpunk, which is also created by AI. I think there's some inspiration from German painters or something like that.
So yeah,
thank you very much, and some Finnish chocolate as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. And next and last presenter, like external presenter from before the Pointscene Awards is Mr. Mika Jaakkola, and you are presenting online. So
Yes.
we will, yes.
Thank
So
you.
did we have a connection as well?
Yes, I share here. Let's see.
So Mika Jaakkola is from Destia company, which was recently or a few years back acquired by Colas, a French company, mother company there. And Mika is one of the first ones to push digitalization in Finland and BIM in Finland in infrastructure already, like maybe, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years. You can tell a little bit more.
A long time ago, yes.
So Mika is joining us from a Destia user or a Destia internal day. So I will let you to it, and hope you are presenting our InfraKit partnership, and you are a heavy InfraKit user for more than maybe 10 years already. So thanks for being here or online there, and I will let you to present.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lauri, for introduction. Yes, good afternoon for everyone. I couldn't come there, but now I do my presentation online here. Hopefully you can hear me well. And so, as Lauri said, we have been doing digitalization or model-based production development, as we say in Finland, at least 15 years already. And it has been my main work in Destia. I work here as a development manager and in road construction unit. And in this presentation, I try to tell about how we use this digitalization in construction process as main contractor's point of view. And as we know, this is the kind of main process that we are doing here, and we have developed that process here in Finland all together with other companies and clients, and my main work is in this model-based production section. So let's go that. But first, I tell some facts about Destia. Maybe the Finland's one of the biggest infrastructure companies, but as we heard, people be only middle size in Germany. But anyway, now we are owned by Colas. They bought us last year, and so we are part of the bigger Colas family. And this year has been a start of the cooperation with the Colas people, and integration works with them. And of course, this model-based construction process is one thing what they are interested about, and we have been doing some cooperation with that also. And so the knowledge from here are going to Colas too, and hopefully they are building or they are developing the processes in Colas other companies there in the Middle Europe. But something what we do, we are mainly we have of course this road construction and road maintenance services, but new services what we have started to do, and we are kind of growing departments of business is rail and urban services and energy services. And we also have this design and design services and lots of know-how about design, and it helps us, of course, when we take over this digitalization, that we have a know-how of modeling and in our in-house. And here I can show you what kind of workflow we are aiming to, or we are using already. This model-based construction. Of course, it's very important that initial data is coming from the client, and in design phase we can rely on our designers that they produce very qualified models, and they do the inspections, and of course we do the inspection of the model in the site also. And then we have typical workflow that we are sharing those models and other data also to all stakeholders of the project. And so it's an idea that all have the same data, and it helps a lot in this process to cooperate and build construction when you have same data and you share it to mobile. And of course we do the most of the construction is done with model based. For example, we have 30 to 50 sites every year which are using model based construction process, and about 250 or 300 machines connected to the InfraKit, and we can send models to machines and get the quality data and data back to our people to use it for example, planning, work planning, and quality assessment. And as we know that in last years we have seen a lot that new technology is coming on the sites, and like drones, and are helping a lot that we can get this aerial photos, terrain models more easily than before, and that way we can get a better situational awareness where we are on the site and what we have to do. But also we have thought that there is lots of data coming from this process. So we have started to develop already a few years ago kind of smart production process that we can collect data from the model-based process and use it for kind of for automated monitoring. For example, we can calculate quantities and performance of the tasks what we do on the site, and we have started to use kind of command centers on the sites that we can visualize these data to our people on the site. And this real-time production data is coming more important all the time. And well, this is an old picture that we made already maybe 10 years ago, but it's still good to show that there are lots of stakeholders that are connected to this platform of InfraKit in every project. They're using the same data, and we can share it. And it's a big benefit for us that we have this kind of tool. Also, the Pointscene is one of the data producers in this process. We can have these orthophotos through the Pointscenes and show them to our people on the site, to the InfraKit. about machine control. It's our goal that we use as much machine control as it's possible in every stage of the construction process. So earthworks has been from the beginning. We have used lots of course, excavation, loading, dumping, excavators and wheel loaders and so. But also for finishing works, that's also common thing to do. But then last years we started to use also for blasting and also, okay, blasting has been already 10 years, but piling and stabilization has come in some years here, so we can use also them. Anyway, for us as main contractor, it's very important that we can connect this kind of mixed fleet. So there is different branches of machine control systems. Some of them, most common, has been already many years connected, but there are always coming new ones, and it's important that all the main machinery is connected, and we can collect this data and share the models to those. So we don't need to so much or at all it's kind of for traditional surveying things. One main kind of process here is that it's kind of a model-based quality assurance process that we use on the site. So idea is that the machines are doing the work and they also do the surveying same time as they do the work, and we can so see where we can follow up the production and quality same time, and it gives us lots of better situational awareness when you see the models and you can see the background map or these ortho photos and also the as-built points as you see here in the picture. For site people, it's very good to see that you can check the models and you can see when you have these as-built points done, and you can follow up this production process. Is same thing here, that all those points here in different colors are showing that these structures are already done and they can move next phase. Okay, something about this drone. Drones are important for us, and we are doing a lot drone work, maybe 30 drones on the site, and they have good know-how on our site, that our survey managers are doing the job, and they can do the flying, and they can do the modeling, and they can produce those data sets. And we have also this kind of SORA license that it enables us to fly it on the populated areas like cities already, and we can get real-time data from that. We can see the background maps and use them for different purposes. And something that we are of course using that's very good data for work planning, for example, and following up completion of the works and volume calculations and quality assessment, and in some cases also for works as initial data for design too. and rock aggregates and inventory. Yes, we can calculate volumes from rocks too, and we can get even so almost real looking pictures, but this is still a model that they have done. But lately we have started to think that there could be even more effective methods for collecting data with drones. So we have been testing this laser scanner drone, and we have seen that it's could be more productive as those basic drones. So I think it's interesting and coming technology that we could use in future more and get better and more accurate data from laser scanning. Of course, as we know, there's very big data sets there, and you need good tools and for sharing and visualizing these point clouds, and we are happy that we have good cooperation companies as Pointscene that are developing these tools. One picture, one testing set that we used this vehicle laser scanner for these paved areas and also drone laser scanner for other areas. So we could compare the model and laser scanner, and it seems good and it looks like it works. But we have lots to learn in this. It's just we have started this and we will see that it would be interesting to get more know-how and experience how to use this in construction site. In the end, Destia has very kind of goals, very high goals to go towards the carbon neutrality, and 2030 we are going to be already carbon neutral, and so we have lots of functions and processes to develop that we can go there, and I think we have started to think that model-based construction process is one tool for that. We can collect data and we can use that for following up emissions, for example, and we can study where could we cut those emissions, and it would be interesting. That would be interesting or will be interesting to develop this process. But I think it's lots of work too. Okay, I think this is the main things I was going to present. So if you have questions, you can ask.
Thank you, Mika. You can see really a lot of years and years and years, and maybe if you calculate together thousands of years of work related to this, and combined all the Finnish industry players here, and together with Destia and other pioneers of the model-based production. So yes, it was really nice to see a full end, like a full-on solution for construction management in a digital manner, which leads to this carbon neutrality or carbon positivity even later on during the next few years. Really important topic. Thank you, Mika, for the presentation. Any questions from the audience or online? Okay, Reeta has one.
Yes, so Reeta from Pointscene here. Mika, I was thinking that you have had multiple projects during the last years with model-based production, and then using drone imagery and data, especially in big projects. I was thinking that what is the main phase or work like phase where you can save the most time when you combine the model and the drone data? So orthophoto and model. So where is the time saving gem in a construction site?
Mainly we are using those orthophotos, and I think they save a lot of efforts from us, and we can get lots of data from quality and follow up, and I think it saves a lot our time and efforts, and in this I think that is the main saving. That
Yeah,
it's and also it gives lots of good data for work planning, and site people can have better situational awareness there, and it gives benefits for projects.
Yeah, so the everyday work planning.
Every day, yes, it's we use it at maybe every other week. We scan the areas where we build, and then we can have almost real time orthophotos from the site.
Very good, very good. Eric from Laserscanning Europe has a question as well.
Yeah, I have another question. How you say in your presentation that the data from the drone with the laser scanner is good enough for your work? I think you have in DJI Zenmuse, like this is more or less the standard system from DJI, where you usually should have like 5 to 10 centimeters high accuracy. And I think if you go photogrammetry with control points, you are in a couple of centimeters. Did you can tell something to that, how you come out? I think that's especially interesting because in German market is the story are typical are very into high accuracy, and maybe it's you should only measure how good you need and not what's technical possible.
Yes, we are just starting this, but anyway, we have seen that it's good enough for earth construction works. We can have better or more accurate models than before. So it's a step ahead, I think, that and it's more effective. This modeling and survey process is shorter, I think.
So at least for soft surfaces like groundworks, the drone-based LiDAR is enough for you?
Yes, we of course we don't have so much experience yet, but it seems that when you, for example, if you have to measure ground model of some area that you need some better model or more accurate model, it's very easy to do with this drone, that you can go through the leaves of the trees, and so
yeah,
better initial data.
Yeah, very good. So initial data for planning and for building as well, and then I think the speed of capture and speed of action is the key when it comes to construction. So the data gets old like a newspaper. So that's what I've heard from the construction sites. So any other questions from the audience to Mika or to Destia or so. I don't see any raising of hands, so I will go. So
Thank you.
one more question from my side, or from me, before you go. So as you have seen the progress in the Finnish or Nordic construction in model-based production, what would be the tips or hints to the players here who work on an international market? So if there is a possibility to travel back in time to go to Germany, for example, Eric mentioned that you're 5 years behind. So if you would want to go, or if you would go 5 years back, what would you do first?
I think it's very important to have cooperation with your clients and discuss with them that you can have them on your side, that we should together develop this process. And I think it has been successful in Finland, that whole branch of construction companies and clients has seen the benefits of these model-based processes. And we already had 2014 those projects that we had lots of piloting new methods, so it helped a lot to do this, that all the stakeholders, all the design softwares were developed very fast, and we were testing them, and cooperation with the technology developers like Infrakit, Novato, on Pointscene, and other Finnish companies, Trimble also. It has been successful, but cooperation is needed.
Very good. That's definitely a take for everyone to go when you go home, or you're not in a rush. So we still have a few things to share with you. So thank you, Mika. We also prepared an AI picture for Destia, of course, and here you can see. I will come and show it to you to the camera.
Yeah.
So this was inspired by Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
it is a model-based construction site seen from Mad Max, created with AI. So this is pretty accurate also, and quite nice. So this looks like pretty much like a Destia site in the future.
Looks familiar.
It looks familiar. So very good. We will send you
Lauri.
send you this and some other gifts to you as a thank you for your presentation. Thank you, everyone. I will also show, this is from the first presentation, so I forgot to show the Angus Miller's Formula E series painting here. So this is sort of for the initial, or for the first presentation, transforming city centers into World Championship racetracks, inspired by David Hockney, a UK artist, and this is pretty nice as well. So we will send this out to the presenters, and then we have one more thing, and I will need to grab the slide here, and then also do the resharing. So we have one more thing before we can go to the after party. So we have Pointscene Awards. Are you excited already? I am. So we will make sure that this becomes a tradition. So we will have 3 categories of winners here in the Pointscene Awards, and the categories will be based on like individual performance, which we call the Pointscene Power User, and then we have another category which will be an exceptional project, and then the last last category is enabler of the year. So basically we will have these 3 categories, one for user or one for individual or a team effort. And then we will have a project effort where we see that the project has been working in an exceptional way, or there has been maybe an exceptional site, or maybe a interesting use case or project. And then an enabler of the year, we are presenting to a organization who has helped their employees or their stakeholders to get the benefits of course of OpenBIM, and also as a active user of Pointscene. So these 3 categories, and the first one, unfortunately, this person who will be awarded couldn't make it here to the event due to a quite recent how do you call health issue, or not health issue, but due to sickness, and he couldn't be here, but he otherwise would be. And this is a person who has been working with Pointscene in 3 different companies during his career. He has been using Pointscene in daily work in many sites. I think maybe around 10 different projects, 15 different projects. He has been using the Pointscene tools, and he has been very active promoter of the tools within their company, and hopefully still is after this award. Which, before I will tell first about the awards. So we will present the award for individuals, and we like our customers like to keep our foot in the ground and head high up, but we want to have like a finish touch to the present or the award. So we will have these labeled Reino boots for the individual users. So Pointscene power user will get Reino boots later on delivered to him. And now it's time to tell who he is. Some of you may know, maybe a former colleague. He's not here, so I will let it on a drum roll. So he will be a project engineer from whose name is Ville Uosukainen from Keski-Suomen Betonirakenne company. So congratulations, Ville, a former HTJ employee and a former Create employee who are all of our good customers. So congratulations, Ville, if you're online. Hope you are, maybe not. Hope you get better soon. And we will celebrate this later on. And the second category is exceptional project. So we were thinking about with our academy of Pointscene. So with the team, we were thinking about a special project that has been widely like using different tools, different data, different data capture methodologies, etc. And also it's a collaborative effort with our partner. So this year, this high performance in special conditions exceptional project goes to an infrastructure project. So this is a infrastructure project combining roads and tunnel building in very harsh conditions. And this year's exceptional project award goes to E6 Kvenangsfället project in up north, which is a contracted by Lenhard Nielsen & Sønner, and the end client is Nyveyer, and Pointscene's partner is Infragit in Norway. So we have been working with them. So they are building a long tunnel They have been scanning a lot. They have been using drones for volumetric calculations and mapping, and of course streaming the data into InfraKit cloud. And I think they have machine control devices and using model-based tools, and they have been really active client towards and pushing our development as well further. So congratulations to Lenhard Nielsen and Sönnen and Nyövejer and of course partners. And we will also send a selection of Reino and Aino boots to the team in Norway, and we will ask for their shoe number, or how do you call it? Shoe size. so if you're online, you will get a inquiry soon. Very good. And then one more category. So the enabler of the year, we want to thank our good customer who has really taken Pointscene into use in many of their projects. They are progressing or pushing the progress with a broad scale, and they have been supporting us with some of the presentations and supporting our work in many ways, and they're really interested. They have many people who are interested in our new features and new development, and we're in a very good collaboration with them. So this year's Pointscene Award goes to a contractor category. So there might be in the future. Let's see if there are categories for design and asset management or ownership. But this one goes to a contractor. And some of you may already guess, and maybe you have been working with that company, or maybe you're still working with the company. So we have decided to give the Enabler of the Year award to our customer Kreate Group in Finland. So thank you for the good collaboration over the maybe 3 to 4 years already. And so these are the exceptional cases and outstanding performances in Pointscene Awards and during the year. So these 3 clients will receive their award, hopefully name labeled or with initials and with the proper award. So first of all, or like as a closure, congratulations to everyone, and let's make sure that we celebrate with each other later on when we have the chance to meet. So this is pretty much what we have or what we have in store for the day, and I just want to remind you some slide from the beginning regarding the old way and Pointscene way. So hope that this day gives an insight in how to improve the ways of working in your personal work, or maybe take some of the things that you learned today, maybe take it home, or maybe take it with you when you go traveling, etc., or when you visit the client, or when you call a friend. So let's try to learn from this, and hope you got a lot from the day, and we definitely got a lot, and hopefully we're able to give you back as well. So first, or as a closure, I would say that thank you very much, and we want to welcome you back to Pointscene Day in 2023. And we didn't decide the date yet, but most likely it will be sometime in the end of the year. But we will let you know when the correct date is. So thank you on behalf of Pointscene team. Reeta, Jonne, Jukka, Jeremia, me. And thank you for being here live and online. And thank you for all the presentations and presenters. Hope you liked the day and hope you will stay for the after party as well. So thank you everyone there and here, and see you next year.